I'm Melissa.
And I'm Lee, and we are busy mums, company founders, and all-round early learning nerds. Welcome to our podcast, Growing Little Humans.
Kids aren't born with a user manual, so each week we'll try and cover many topics that you guys encounter and worry about each and every day while you're raising your little humans.
So today we are welcoming the amazing Amanda Jenner on the pod, and I've had to write some notes down here, Amanda, because I didn't want to miss anything with your huge bio. So a mum of three, a UK child and behavioural expert, the inventor of My Carry Potty, the creator of the Potty Training Academy, author of, and I think we've seen that already, the author of the Potty Training Magic Book, and you are one of the longest established and most experienced toilet training expert in the UK, with a long list of celebrity clients, and you are known well for working closely with families and giving them guidance on toilet training. Did I miss anything?
No, that was a lot.
It was a lot.
It makes me feel tired listening to it.
I had to write it down. So amazing. You have had like an amazing career to date, and obviously you've only really kind of got started. You're still, steamrolling along. And one of the reasons why we asked you to join us today is that we are hoping that you will work with us in the Wishing Tree to deliver potty training for our staff and for our parents. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Yes, very exciting.
Okay, so the first question, really important question that I'm sure you get asked all the time is, when do we start potty training?
So that is a good question, because lots of people think, they're just going to choose a day and they're going to start themselves. When they don't, you have to look for the signals that your child is ready. You can't force it on a child. So that's really important. So watching out for signs of readiness, that's the most thing that I always say to my parents is, if they're stopping in their tracks when they're doing a wee or a poo, they're hiding or they're insisting on a nappy change, this is a sign that they're starting to recognise their bodily functions. Okay. So this is a really good time to think, right, okay, let's get it in the diary, let's start potty training. But it's really important as well that when you see these signs, you start the educational process first before you start.
And what is that educational process?
So, I actually devised the Potty Training Academy pack because parents find it really difficult. How do you potty train?
Absolutely.
And every child is different. So with the potty training pack, you start off by reading them a book. So read the book for about a week or two before you start, because children really react very well to visuals. So if you visually show them what they've got to do, then it works brilliantly. And then there's an app inside as well. So show them the app, and that's basically the book that comes to life. Again, they get to know the characters. It makes them feel safe and excited about their journey. And then you start. But it's really, really important that you definitely start the educational process first.
Okay, fantastic. And a lot of people always say you have to put away a certain amount of time to potty train your child. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What would be, obviously nothing is never a perfect time and life gets in the way, but if you had to say some things that would give you a successful opportunity to start, what would that look like?
So yeah, that's really good, because a lot of parents think, okay, we're just going to smash it out over the weekend. It doesn't work like that. And some children get it and some children don't, everybody's different. So I would say that choose your time wisely. It's really important. So if a child's been unwell or they're starting a new nursery school, you've moved house, or you've got a new baby, or any change of circumstances in the home, it's really important to wait and start when it's a bit clearer and things are settled down. But I would say it's good to have like a weekend where they're not going to nursery, only because I think it's important for them to get used to potty training in the home, and you get used to the little tips and tricks and things and little habits they pick up when they start potty training, so you can read them a little bit more when you're doing it one-to-one. So I would definitely say over a weekend when they're not attending nursery, when they haven't got 7 birthday parties, you haven't got a big family coming to visit you, just, nice and quiet and calm is a really good time to start potty training.
And what sort of ages are we looking at for potty training?
There's no age.
There's no age.
No. And a lot of people say, right, okay, they're 2 next week. I get so many emails, thousands of them saying, okay, my child's hitting 2 in September, I'm going to start the day after they're 2. Well, if they're not ready, then you're going to have a big battle on your hands. So there's no set age. Actually, the average age in the UK and worldwide is 3.5.
Wow.
And that sounds
Okay.
really old, doesn't it? But actually, if you leave it that little bit longer, when they're starting to show the signs, then you've got it, because they are understanding what they have to do. They recognise their bodily functions, and it will make the whole process a lot easier.
So when we talk about potty training, we're talking about day and night together, yes?
No, you don't do night. No, you definitely don't do
These
night.
are the questions
No.
I get asked. So
Yeah.
Initially, obviously, we start with just the
we
day.
do the day, so we
Okay.
crack the day. So, and I'm saying, like, you know, at least for a couple of months. So getting them really used to potty training for a couple of months in the day, because if you do both together, it really puts the fear of God into the children. And basically what happens is they start holding on at night. They start having accidents in the day. It makes them regress. It's a real mess.
Okay.
So get them potty trained in the day, and then nighttime is completely separate.
Okay.
So we can go on to that. But yeah, definitely in the day, we need to get them done first.
Okay, now another question I get asked all the time is it easy to train boys or girls, or is it just the individual?
Well, that's a potty training myth that lots of people say, that boys are lazy.
I'm getting
They
all
are
the
a
myths.
little bit.
I'm sharing all the myths today.
I would say what it is with, like, girls love to put on the pretty pants, and the boys aren't really that bothered. I suppose unless you've got, you know, their character pants and things like that. But they're both exactly the same. Like, every child develops at different rates. And I would say that boys probably are not so bothered about sitting in a wet nappy, but girls are more. That's it.
Okay.
You know, and I've potty trained. Well, we've just hit 1 million sales of the My Carry Potty.
Oh, wow.
So, and I've helped a lot of those parents. Yeah. So that, and I would say that really, I'd say boys and girls are really both the same.
Okay.
Apart from the girls like to be pretty.
Pretty in their pretty
In their
panties.
pretty pants like mummy.
So speaking of pretty panties, what do we need? What does a parent need to start the process?
Yeah, so once you've seen the signs of readiness, you've started your education, then what I always say to parents is go out and let your child choose their own potty, because they have to get involved from the offset, and it's down to them to sit and to love their potty. And children don't like a plastic potty, and children don't want to potty train. They don't find it exciting, but it's something obviously we all have to learn. So go out, choose their potty, make a day of it, you know, choose their big girl, big boy pants. They're really important to use as well. Get rid of those pull-ups and go to big girl, big boy pants, and then go out and get all your equipment ready, get yourself set up, and choose a day and think, right, okay, so we're going to start this weekend. We've got our potty, we've got our pants, rewards as well. Get your rewards. So choose a system that you like as a parent.
Okay.
I'm a great one for rewarding them as well. So, you know,
So like a star chart or a treat,
bit
or
boring star chart. So
yeah.
they do find it a bit boring. They like it for a day and then they're bored. So so what I always suggest is I've got like poo and wee emojis in there. Cut them out, get some little prizes, stick the wee emojis on the prizes for the wees and the poo ones for the poos. Put them somewhere that they can see them, so they visually see them, so you can keep prompting them. They like these because they're little prizes and it's an element of surprise. So the star charts and the sticker charts, do those, but I always give them a star or a sticker for trying. So even if they sit on the potty and they don't achieve, they get a sticker, but the prize is the ultimate thing.
Okay, so potties, we're just talking about the chart being where you can see it. Potties, do they need to be where the child can see it? Or
Yes, yeah.
So it has to be in there.
It has to be in their eye so they can see it. So in the room they spend most of their time. So lots of parents say to me, oh no, we want them to go straight to the bathroom. That's great. If, you know, it's great eventually, but if they're playing and they're, you know, watching something or they're playing with their toys, they get so engrossed, children. So they do forget, and they get a split second because they're still training their bladder. So they're sat there and they wait till the last minute and they're still playing and getting that little bit, you know, and then they're like, oh, I need to go for a wee. And then they have to go down the corridor, turn left, up the stairs, round the to the bathroom. They're going to have an accident. It's done. So put it in the room. It's only temporarily that they have to have it in the room, but put it so they can visually see it, and also you can prompt them and remind them it's there whilst they're playing.
Okay, excellent. So accidents, how do we deal with accidents? So you knew that one was coming.
Get a large gin as a parent, because there's going to be lots of accidents, you know, and it's practice makes perfect. So what I suggest you do is when they have an accident, you have to brush over it. So it's really important the language you use when you're potty training, because if you seem cross or upset with them, children really take that in and then they don't want to potty train. So it's never mind, have a little batch of pants in a little basket where their potty is. Let's get the wet pants off, get them to help you pull them down. So all the way down down. I always do a little poem, and then get their clean pants and all the way up, and we put them back on again and just brush over the accidents. Never mind, next time, where do you think it should go? And get them just to say it should go in the potty. And they always do, but they still have accidents.
Okay.
So to avoid accidents, the best thing you can do is just keep prompting them during the day. And, lots of parents also say to me is, how long do you have to keep prompting? It's like, do you need a wee? Do you need a wee? Do you need a poo? What I would say is, don't keep saying that, because then children get really annoyed with you. And you get annoyed with yourself for saying it. So I would suggest what you do is say, don't forget, what's the potty there for? Or, are you going to get a wee prize? Or are you going to get a poo prize? So do things like skirt around it, but use prompts in another way rather than keep going on at them all the time. Or, do you think it's time to go on the potty? Shall we try? So really nice, upbeat, smiley language is really important.
So then I think it depends on the individual child how long that process can take. So the first is that they're in the room with you, and then you're moving it, and then less and less prompting, I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah. What happens is, like, so people say to me, how long do I have to reward the child for as well? Because, I have parents that, that's a good thing to actually say here is, reward them for a good couple of weeks. I have, when I've trained children, I go and I have 2 days, they don't even know me. I set all the prizes up, they want those prizes. They don't even know me. And but after like an hour, they're like, I don't want to go. So the resistance to sit on a potty on day one is there, and it's quite tough. And you really do not know what to do to get them to sit on the potty. But if they've got that prize there, and they have that prize, don't take it away after a week. Just make them smaller, but carry on for a good couple of weeks, because what happens is they can sometimes regress thinking, oh, it's not pleasing mummy and daddy anymore, so I'm not going to do it. But just keep it for a good couple of weeks. It's like us, if we train ourselves to do anything, it takes weeks. It doesn't happen in a day, and potty training is no different.
No.
I will also say as well, what's really, really important is the consistency. It's so important you keep potty training consistent. So if you're going to potty train on day one, the next day, get out and about with that potty. Take your potty with you, because it's really important children feel safe to go in and out of the home. And also, if they're going to a nursery, it's important you speak to your nursery, let them know how they feel comfortable using the potty or the toilet, so you're both doing the same thing.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we're partnering with you, because we know that children are more successful when they have what they're having at home is what they're having at school, the same language, the same treats, etc., etc.
Yes,
so I think that's really, really,
it's so
really,
important.
really important for them.
And lots of children do regress when they go to nursery. Nursery's busy, you've got all different sets, and I know it's, you can't be too one-to-one, but what's really important is you have a little diary of how they like it. Some children don't want you to watch them, so if they're at nursery and they're waiting there and watching them, they're not going to do it. They want their privacy, so it's really important to do a bit of fact finding and give that to your nursery and let them know, and work together. It's all about working together. The nursery want to get you potty trained as much as you want to get potty trained, so it's really important. You can't take the prizes in because of the other children, but take the poo and wee emojis into nursery in a clear bag, and then if they've done it at nursery, they can go and get their prize when they get home.
When they get home.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. So my other question to you is, we're talking about potties. When do we move to the big toilet? And what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, there's no rush again. I have parents say, oh, we really cracked it on the potty. It's really good. And we've moved them to the toilet, and now they're having accidents after 2 weeks. It's too early. It's a good couple of months sometimes they like to go on the potty. And what happens is, what I always say is, when you go and buy your potty, buy the matching toilet seat, buy the same colour so they feel safe. So it's the same as their potty. So the transition...
Big toilet compared to a little potty.
Yeah, of course. And they think they're going to fall down the toilet. Yeah. So what I always suggest is get a good toilet trainer seat with handles so they feel safe, because they always like to hold on, and have it there anyway from day one. And some children run between the two. They think it's a bit of a game. But if you've got it there, it's not something new that you're pulling out and it's another change, because children don't like change. No. So what I suggest you do is let them go on the potty for a bit, get used to it out and about. And at nursery, I don't know what your facilities will be, but they have little toilets.
We do have little toilets.
Yeah, and they have the little toilets there, so that, the bowl's not so big. So just maybe get them used to it and say, do you want to try the toilet? You can do that whilst you're potty training, but don't put too much pressure to move them on to the toilet. So I would say a good couple of months. But have it there anyway.
I think when you're talking about having the same seat that you're having, the same as potty, is probably why a lot of children who have got the hang of sort of getting the hang of potty training, they'll always wait to go home because, like you said, you talk about the privacy and that's where they're potty and that's where they're safer. So we don't really want children to be holding on to go home.
No.
We want them to be able to feel safe wherever they are.
Definitely.
Now, we just talked about it a couple of times about children regressing and obviously change, et cetera, and I always hear about, there's a new baby in the house and things like that. So can you give us some of the reasons why children regress and how you deal with that?
Yes. I mean, one of the key one is actually when they go to nursery, they start regressing because they don't know the environment. It's a new environment. So that's a tricky one. And I think that's why it's so important you communicate with the parents and the parents communicate with you. Also, the new baby, because what happens is they want to be a baby again because mummy and daddy are spending all the time changing the baby, breastfeeding the baby. And they're like, if I'm a baby, I'm going to get the attention. So I want my nappy back on. And that's a really big regression. So what we need to do for that is actually keep the prizes. So maybe if they're potty trained and they decide they're going to regress because there's a new baby, get the prizes back out again, set up a good chart for them and say, we're going to get, you can get a prize. You're the big girl. You're the big, they actually don't like being called big brother or big sister, but you're special. You're really special. Get them helping you with the baby, get them to go and get the nappy, help you change the nappy so they feel important and just keep, it's the language that you use with them. You don't need those anymore. You're really special. So, and just try and get back on track as soon as possible. Also, if they feel unwell, sometimes they have an upset tummy, they can't help themselves, but they will have accidents. So don't class that as regression because lots of parents will say to me, they've had a really upset tummy or stomach bug, they've regressed. Well, that's because they can't hold it in. So it's not regression, it's just they feel unwell.
So try as soon as they're better, just stick straight back to that routine again.
Get back on. And if they're not getting back on, set up a new reward system. So I always say, get a start, pick some things they like doing. So sit down with them and say to them, what's your favourite things? Do you like washing your cars? Do you like bathing your Barbie dolls? Do you like doing this? Do you like doing that? And put it all on the back of some stars and hide them around the house. And when they've done something, they can go and find it. So change it up a little bit. Keep it interesting, which is really important. Encouragement is the biggest key when you're potty training.
Okay. Fantastic. So you've got some of your resources here today. Would you like to show us some of them? We'd really like to have a look.
With the potty training pack here. So this is for parents. So we're going to introduce one into your nursery school.
Yes.
So again, the consistency. So if they're used to a training system at nursery and the parents can take this home with them, they can use this at home.
Fantastic.
So in the potty training pack, we have a book. So the educational resources here, and it's sealed, so I can't open it. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Should have done this earlier. So we have a book. So this is the key element of what I say to parents is to start reading them the book. So we've got characters here, which is George and Holly.
George and
Holly characters, and they're on their magic potties, but it's a real story. So they're actually struggling to use the potty and they don't understand how they can do a wee and a poo on the potty. So this book is the book which parents start reading a week or two before, read it at bedtime, go back over the story, get them to answer some of the questions. Children love it. And I get so many emails saying, that book, it comes out every night still, we're potty trained, which is great. And then we've got an app, which is the book that comes to life. So after you've done the book for a week or two, show them the app and then they love it. They get immersed in this magical story. And again, what it's doing is it's teaching them, but they're having fun with it.
Excellent.
Then you introduce the potty, you see. And, obviously the My Carry Potty's in the book, but there's some great potties out there. But once they've chosen their potty, they got a potty like George and Holly. So again, it's just teaching
encouraging
them. It's
them
okay. Yeah. And then we have a reward chart and stickers here for the trying.
There. Excellent.
And they've got all the characters that are in the book. Again, really interactive with the children. And the sticker chart, put this somewhere they can reach it. Sorry if you've got a lovely house and you don't want stickers everywhere. It's only for a little while. And
as long as I think the stickers are going on the chart, no everywhere else.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, but they do go everywhere else. Didn't say that really. And then if they've tried, they sat down. Well done, you've got a sticker. Really good.
Excellent.
And then we've got your poo and wee emojis. Something you've always wanted.
What I thought it was.
In your life. So the poo and wee emojis are here.
Fantastic.
So stick these on the prizes. And it's really simple. While I'm talking about poo and wee, please don't use things like, do you want a sprinkle? Do you want to do a little tinkle on the potty? It sounds really cute, but use wee and poo. These are the words. Use it. Just use consistent words. They're really easy for the children to say as well. And, it is wee and poo at the end of the day, and that's it. So we've got those for the parents. And then we have got the stars for later on if you want to hide them around the house. whatever. You can use those for anything you want. And then we've
Fantastic.
got the magic box. So this is a further
What's in the
encouragement
magic
box.
box?
It's the magic reward box. Really easy to make. Don't have to be arty and crafty here. And what I say to this is sometimes just make this box up and have some little treats in. And then during the day, if you think, wow, they've done really well, they've asked, give them an extra little treat. You can fill it up with sugar-free sweets or homemade little biscuit stars, which I do make a lot. And put them in there and just say, I'm really proud of you today. So they don't have to do something for you to do that, because they really want to make you feel happy when they're potty training. When I speak to the children as well, when I go to the houses and they've had a really good day, they say, are you proud of me, Amanda? And I say, I'm very proud of you. Why don't we go and get the box? And it's so lovely. And you know, they really do feel it's a really big change for them. And if sometimes during the day you just, without prompting, get them the box down and say, do you want to take something out? They actually feel amazing about it. So it's really empowering them.
You don't have to do something to get that reward.
Yeah,
just
you're just saying how happy you are with them.
Fantastic.
So that's that. So parents can take it home. You can share it with your friends, you know, and I think that's another really good thing, you know, have a potty training buddy, you know, and at nursery, that's a really nice thing to introduce as well, where you can let parents know there's like 5 buddies when they're potty training, and they can all like connect on socials together and share their stories. You know, parenting is a difficult thing. You know, it doesn't come with a
Hence
manual.
This podcast.
Yeah, of course. You know,
that information.
It doesn't come with a manual, so you should all work together and share your notes and share your tips and your tricks. And I always say that to my parents. I've got a big parent community, and you know, we do
have a
lots,
huge social following.
huge,
it's amazing.
yeah, and it's huge. And you know, and I always say to everyone, like, share it. Don't feel like you're too embarrassed to say, look, my child is really struggling with potty training, or you know, it's something that takes time and patience. So work together. And I always say that, don't be ashamed. No. Every child, you know, develops at different rates. As I say, no child is the same. No. And then we've got the Potty Training Academy pack, which the nursery will have, and it's got the George and Holly dolls inside it, which they can take home to, you know, to give them some comfort over the weekend. We've got flashcards, which are brilliant. They're brilliant to use at home as well, so they're really good for the educational purposes as well, prior to your start day.
Prompting, some reminders.
Prompting, reminders. Do it for about 10 minutes. Don't do it too long. Children pick it up really quickly. Every day for 10 minutes. Brilliant. And it really works. You know, I do it with children and they say, can we get the flashcards out? I know what that one is. That's a potty with a poo in, and I'm going to do it in my potty. Even though they don't do it, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. So that's really good.
And then I think that links to everything you're saying is just consistency.
Consistency is key. It's the biggest thing. Really, really big.
Fantastic. So Amanda, day one, we're ditching the nappies. Do we get pull-ups out? Do we get pants? What does that look like?
Yeah, so day one, what I'd say is it's something that's so important. And this is actually a fact. So if you go from nappies to pull-ups, the child doesn't know the difference. It's the same material, so they think it's a nappy. So they're going to have more accidents. Wow. I know they say they feel the wetness, which they do. And for some children, yes, you have to do it. Obviously, children with special needs. And yes, you definitely have to when you're potty training. But it's so important to go to big girl, big boy pants. They have to have that transition to make the change. So potty training pants are great. So they're made out of cotton and they capture small accidents. So it's not the floodgates when they have the accident, which can make them really upset as well. But it captures the poo. But it's that difference. You have to make that difference. In the day I'm talking about, not the night, okay? So yes, potty training pants. Let them pick their favourite characters or use potty training pants. Also, at night is very different. So what you say in the morning, day one, you get up, let's take that nappy off, get a plastic bin in your bedroom, in their bedroom, and get that nappy off and get them to throw it in the bin, pick their big boy and big girl pants on and put them on. So in that bedroom, it's called a sleep nappy from that day. Okay, so there's the difference between it. So it's really important. Some children find it really daunting to have the big pants, the big boy, big girl pants on because it's different and they feel bare because it's not that heavy feeling of the nappy. So again, give them a sticker.
But that's the point, isn't it?
That's the point. We have to do that. Yeah. So give them a sticker for putting their pants on. If they're resisting, give them a sticker, give them a treat, make it fun. So it's really important. We definitely use those.
And is that in the home, like, or is that, and when you're out and about? Everywhere. Once you've done it, you've done it.
Yeah, I know it's scary, but we have to do that. And another thing that's really important is when you're potty training, don't put all the dungarees on, the zips, the 10 layers of clothing.
Make it easy.
Make it easy so they can pull joggers down, or the little girls, tights, yes, if it's cold, probably not here, but, make sure it's really easy for them to undress very, very quickly. Yeah. When you go out and about, take your spare clothes with you, take spare pants with you, and definitely take your potty with you everywhere you go from day one. Really important. So whatever you use at home, take it with you. So that's going to be your new handbag.
Okay.
Is your potty.
Buy a new handbag and put your potty in
put your potty inside.
Fantastic.
Or use a carry potty, you don't need a handbag.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And also, so last thing from me is top tips. We all covered a lot of information today, but if you had to give some parents some top tips apart from carry your potty wherever you go, what else have you got?
So I would say, number one, watch for signs of readiness. Really, really important. That's the top tip. Number two is choose your time wisely. So make sure you choose the right time to start potty training. Keep it consistent. Really, it's so important. Consistency is key. So if they're going to grandma's, or you've got a nanny, or someone's looking after them, they must use the same system as you're using. And again, at nursery, really important. When you go out and about, day 2, get out and about. Even if it's for short bursts, it's really important they feel safe to go in and out of the home. And rewards, make sure you've got your rewards in and out the home again. So if they go outside, they're rewarded for it. It has to be instant, because if you say, I'm going to reward you when you get home, they've forgotten about it already.
Absolutely.
So that's really, really important. And keep calm. Relax. Rome wasn't built in a day. Potty training certainly isn't. And don't panic. Don't compare to any other child. Your child is your child. Everybody develops at different rates, and they'll get it when they get it.
I think when you talked about the education side, that's the time where you can start getting organised as well, get all your treats and things organised. So you've got time to get this all organised.
And and in the evenings, reward yourself as a parent, because it's really hard. Get your gin out, or your glass of wine, or whatever. Pat yourself on the back as a parent as well, because it's a really big, tough journey.
It really is.
It really is. And as I say, it's not easy. So don't beat yourself up as a parent. It can take days, it can take weeks, it can take months. It doesn't mean there's something wrong. It's just that child takes that little bit longer.
Yeah. And I think at Wishing Tree, we really look forward to supporting families in that journey, and so that there's not that difference from what's happening. And hopefully that means children will be potty trained a lot.
Yeah, which is amazing. Yes. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's great.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Amanda, so much for your time today. You are absolute wealth of knowledge, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And here come the legals. Our podcast is purely brought to you for educational and entertainment purposes. We are just two hectic mums, and we are certainly not licensed therapists.
This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of licensed or qualified professionals. And if you do need some help, please seek out some professional advice.